Hello everybody, my name is Eggsy and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be explaining BYTES. So BYTES is a new mechanic in the game. So they are basically an extra attachment you can attach to your units to give them extra stat bonuses. For instance, the box. You can get extra damage, range, and cooldown. BYTES are brand new. There are only 4 in the game at the moment, which that is Boss Drain, the box, Kaboom, and the Reaper. Now, the ways to obtain each of the BYTES are: the box can be obtained via opening presents. There's a random chance to obtain the box, and I think it's pretty rare, but I've seen a lot of people get it super early. Kaboom, you can get it from doing quests. There's a random chance to get it there. The Reaper, it's a random chance to obtain via killing someone or killing enemies. So that's a completely random chance as well. And then the only guaranteed one is Boss Drain, which you can get from the boss raids. We come down to boss raids, go to the store, scroll down, you'll see Boss Drain here. Boss Drain is probably the easiest to get, seeing as you just need 300 raid coins. It is cheaper than Time Lord Wizard Freddy, but still pretty expensive. There is also Remnant here. Remnant is a very vital currency, I'd say, material. It's very important to have when working with BYTES. So if we come over to the BYTES section, which you can find right over here to the right of the spawn, you can see here that you can re-roll the stats on the BYTES. When you equip it, it'll show you the possible range you can get, so 0 to 25. I currently have 17.3, which is pretty good. And then you can get negative 20 to 20, negative 10 to 10, positive 10 to 10. You just want all positives. I would try to go for above the halfway range. So obviously you'd want above 10%, above 10%, above 5%, which I have reached that. Next, Agonization. This is a little bit complicated. Also not. It's sort of this weird gray area. So there are 4 agonizations that you can get. Agonization 1, where nothing changes. Agonization 2, where it rerolls the stats of the byte within the caps. Agonization 3 raises the stat caps of the bytes by 1% to 30% higher permanently and rerolls the stats once. So these stats here will be increased by 30%, meaning that you'll be able to get like 13% cooldown, 26% range and damage, that sort of thing. Then Agonization 4 adds a passive of a random other byte in the game, then increases the caps of the stats of that passive by negative 5% to 10% and re-rolls it once. Agonization 4 and 3 are the ones you want to go for. I'd recommend 4, but unfortunately, you can only agonize a byte once. You can agonize it and then you'll get an agonization, and then you can remove the agonization, but you can only agonize it once. You can't re-agonize a byte. On the note of agonization, you need Remnant for it. Remnant you can get from the boss raid shop, as you saw previously. The best one you want is Agonization 4, and then the second best is Agonization 3. I'd recommend 4, but obviously you can't choose. It is completely random. On that note, there are a few of the BYTES that I would recommend for specific characters. For instance, the box is very good all-rounder, so obviously you'd want that for most of your damage dealers and such, but Kaboom is extremely powerful as well. Attached unit will use explosion attacks and 17.3% range. That's obviously random, but this is what you want to focus on. The attached unit will use explosive attacks. This is extremely powerful on a unit like Astral Bonnie, who is a single damage type. Astral Bonnie naturally does 3k DPS, but is a single damage type, so he only attacks one unit and that's one enemy, and that's it. If you make that explosion type, that's circle AoE. That means he can hit multiple people for 3k DPS, making him not just a boss killer, but also really good for crowd control. Next is, I believe, Boss Drain. Boss Drain is extremely good for boss damage. I don't have a Boss Drain on me at the moment, but I believe I can pull up the stats from the FNTD database. If we come over to here, bam. So, can be obtained by opening any presents. Each game, the byte will have a 1 in 5 chance to grant a random buff. It also grants secondary buff, half strength, possible, blah, blah, blah. I don't think this is the case anymore. I think they just give you all 3 buffs I think this is misinformation. I'm not 100% sure. This is really good. Crit damage buffing from the Reaper obtained from killing enemies. So the Reaper does crit damage. It can go from negative 80% to 80%, which obviously you want close to 80%. Boss drain can be bought. Boss damage buff and damage to normal enemies buff. So this is really good for your boss killers. So this would also be extremely good for Astral Bonnie if you want to make him a sole boss killer, or anyone who does big DPS. Kaboom, in my opinion, is the best for Astral Bonnie, but that is all up to you guys and all up to everyone, all up to your opinions, right? So other than that, I think that's all the ways to obtain bites and what they do. I'm going to showcase real quick how or what the box can do for a unit. So let me just quickly make a team with my Dragon Endo to show you guys how the box just immediately applies a buff to the unit. I just remembered that I don't need to make a team. I can just show you guys straight up. Let's load into a quick endless. Bam, bam, bam. All right, now that we're in this, I'm just gonna give myself some money. Place down this, bam. And then as you can see, the buffs from the box are already being provided. So that's a 6.3% cooldown reduction, 15% range, 18% damage increase. And also you can see them sitting next to the units. So the box is right there. If I had boss drain, it'd be right there. If I had all of them, it would be right there. Which is really cool because it adds extra customization to all of your units. It is very, very neat. Anyway, that's enough of that. I just need to show you guys what it did exactly. On that note, I'm just going to tell you guys straight up, the bites you would want to prioritize, in my humble opinion, would be Box, Kaboom, and Boss Drain. Reaper is okay, but in my opinion, it is probably one of the weakest out of the four because crit chance isn't increased at all. It's just crit damage. So the crit chance is still the same. So if your unit isn't critting, you don't get any additional damage buff from the Reaper. So I'd say go for the Box, Kaboom, and Boss Drain. Kaboom and Boss Drain are probably on the same level, but the Box is probably the top one that you want to get because it is just straight up an extra booster unit. The Box is straight up as if I just had Overgrown Foxy just in my team. The Box is basically just a Overgrown Foxy. Like the buffs are slightly worse, but it's pretty much the equivalent of having one. This new system is probably going to change the meta quite a bit, and it will make bad units good units, and good units probably not so great. Astral Bonnie was already overpowered as hell, and with the Kaboom bite, he now is going to be one of the best units in the game. Well, he already is one of the best units in the game, but he'll be even better. Because if you see, I actually made a review on Astral Bonnie with the Kaboom bite, and he was doing almost 10,000 DPS in a circle AoE. Anyway, I hope you all learned something new from this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I will see all of you in the next one. I hope you all have a lovely day, night, and or evening. Peace out, guys.